What's going on, Z Community Cuties? It's your boy Azizz Finance, and welcome back to the Personal Finance in Canada show, also known as the PFC show. Whether you've been listening to our podcast for a while now, or this is your first time, be sure that you're either following or subscribe to the pod, and share this with somebody who you think will also get value from this podcast as well. Now, without further ado, let's get this party started and dive into the episode. By listening to the PFC show, the Personal Finance in Canada show with Azizz Finance, you acknowledge and agree that me, Azizz Finance, assume no responsibility for any financial decision or decisions that you make, as it is ultimately your finances and you are the only controller of your own decisions. I am a random person on the internet and not a financial professional, so please consult with one being a financial professional before making any financial-based decision, because anything that you hear on this podcast, overall, each and every single episode, is just a sharing of my experience and are not suggestions whatsoever, regardless of the types of language or words that I use within these episodes. Again, by listening to this podcast, you acknowledge that I assume no responsibility for any decisions that you make regarding your finances. Alright, so this is going to be more of a freestyle episode. We are going to talk about cryptocurrencies, NFTs. Now, this has been such a hot topic for the past, say a year or two, I guess ever since the pandemic started, but a lot of people have asked me or reached out to me asking, hey, Azizz Finance, what do you think about cryptocurrencies, or do you have any NFTs that you're holding in your portfolio, so on and so forth. And my personal take on it is I am not touching NFTs. And cryptocurrency, I have dabbled around a little bit, but they were more for short-term trades. So to kind of give you guys a little bit of a sample, I start off with a certain amount, buy in at a specific cryptocurrency that I won't mention so you guys don't misinterpret it as a suggestion, and basically wait for like a 20% return. Once I get that, boom, sell, take the profits, and then reinvest that same amount that I started with, wait for 20% to come through again, and then just recycle, repeat the process. Currently, I think it's been around a little over a year now since I'm waiting for a 20% gain in my cryptocurrency stake. But honestly, hey, at the end of the day, I still have like 20% left to go, because it did go down. As you guys know, there was like a huge pullback with most of the cryptos, or at least the most popular ones. And I honestly don't care. This amount that I invested is something that I'm personally comfortable with losing. So even if it goes down to $0 or the entire crypto market crashes, at the end of the day, I'm unfazed. I could still sleep at night. No problems, no issues. But a lot of people actually question my stance sometimes, why not take a long-term position within a cryptocurrency, or even a cryptocurrency fund, which is a collection of a bunch of them, kind of like an ETF, but for crypto, or NFTs. And I'll be quite frank with you guys. The reason why I am not heavily immersed in this environment is because I don't quite understand it yet. That's number one. Obviously, I do have, some sort of the basic understanding that everybody else will tell you if you ask them, hey, are you into crypto? They'll tell you, oh, blockchain this, centralize that, and all this freaking lingo. And I'm like, dude, I understand everybody tells me the same thing, but I personally don't understand it. That's point number one. If I don't understand something, I am not going to get into it. The second point I would say is I guess you can say the feasible application of these things, whether it be for crypto and NFTs. Now, don't get me wrong, there is huge potential for applications of both cryptocurrencies and NFTs. But I feel like at the current state that we're at, and the state that we were at, these past 2 years, I feel like there has just been more experimentation. And I guess you could say this is still the initial phase of crypto and NFTs. Different people are experimenting with different things, and nobody really knows exactly what is going to work, what is going to last, and things of that sort. And it really just reminds me of the dot-com bubble, which you guys have probably heard of in your history books, as have I, because, I was 2 or 3 years old when this shit happened. Alright, so a lot of you guys have asked me, hey, Azizz Finance, how have you managed to create full-time income from options trading? Now, guys, I'll be quite candid with you. 99.9% of the entire platform is for free. All the education, all the resources that you'll ever need. Although you can get an inside scoop of what my trades look like on a day-to-day basis, and you can do this with our Instagram close friend subscription. Basically, for a small fee a month, you can get access to the day-to-day plays that I make on the Instagram story. It's as simple as that. So be sure to check out what this looks like and how you'll be able to benefit from this on our website, azizzfinance.ca, AZIZZ, finance.ca. If you're interested, let me know and you can get the inside scoop on the trades that I make to bring me my full-time income. Anyway, back to the episode. But yeah, essentially, from what I've heard, it was a similar type of situation where a bunch of companies, came out in the dot-com bubble and everybody was just crazed about them. Everybody was getting in, putting all their life savings into it, so on and so forth. And then fast forward a few years later, most of these companies don't even exist anymore, with the exception of I don't know, Google, Amazon, these big guys. And I feel like that is my underlining point here, is there are so many cryptocurrencies, so many NFTs, but to tell you guys the flat out truth, only a few, if we're lucky, will actually prevail. Some people will say it's Bitcoin, some people will say it's Ethereum, NBA's Top Shot NFT collection. We can only speculate so much. At the end of the day, we don't know what's actually going to stay within our society for the next 10, 20, even hundreds of years from now. And that's the exact reason why I'm not actually getting into cryptos or NFTs. That would be the second point. And then I guess you can say the last point, which I feel like is pretty self-explanatory, but if you're in, the investing game, whether it be stocks, ETFs, bonds, crypto, whatever the case is, most of us have the exact same intention, right? It's to put in capital in hopes to get more capital, through appreciation, dividends, interest, whatever the case is. And the number one rule, if you want to do that successfully, is obviously you don't want to lose money, right? And when it comes down to the volatility that is associated with cryptocurrencies and NFTs, there's just way too much volatility. And for my personal risk tolerance, considering number one, I don't understand this, and number two, only a couple of players will actually prevail, I feel like that's just a recipe for disaster. And that's the exact same reason why my position size within the cryptocurrencies that I was flipping, it was pretty microscopic in comparison to the positions that I do, for example, with stocks or ETFs or options. And again, I don't mind, gambling a few dollars, just to see what will happen. And if I make profits, nice. If I don't, whatever, I don't really care. But yeah, I think that's the number one rule for me, is if I want to make money, I got to make sure I don't lose it. Concluding this, I'm not completely closed-minded to cryptocurrencies or NFTs. Don't get me wrong, it does have crazy huge potential in the future. Although if I am to get into something like this, I'm going to need to consult with somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, Not that random person on the street who tells me the same thing I've been hearing over and over again. Oh, blockchain this, centralize that. I'm going to need somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. And then to further analyze, what are the probabilities of certain cryptocurrencies or NFT collection or whatever is going to prevail, or its potential application. And then from there, I could take next steps. I could then, increase position size, so on and so forth. So if you're listening to this right now and you personally believe that you are a blockchain master, crypto or NFT master, reach out to me and I would love to kind of have a conversation with you to, further analyze if this is something that'll be here to stay. Alright, Z community, that's pretty much it for today's episode. Now again, if you did find value from this, be sure that you're either following or subscribed to the podcast so that you're up to date with new episodes that are going to come your way. On top of that, if you feel like either your friend, your parents, your grandma, your grandpa are going to benefit from this episode or this overall pod, be sure you swing it their way, because at the end of the day, it could just be a nice little early Christmas gift or something. But nonetheless, guys, it's your boy Azizz Finance signing out. I'll see you guys on the next one.